Welcome. This is All Minus One Quick Shots. All right, folks. First, some business at hand. I got my mic fixed, which is amazing because that means I can use my hands, I can use my keyboard, I can use my mouse, I can use my other screen much more easily to produce content for you all, which I have been really lacking in the last week and a half. Last week for personal reasons. This week because the mic broke. In any case, whatever. It is fixed, and I will be talking to Brother Augustine over on my other channel, The Ends Justify the Memes. That is the live show that goes live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. And so I'm very happy to have that interaction because Brother Augustine is a very interesting character, and hopefully we will have a very good interview this evening. So, on to the news for the day. Now, there is all kinds of things I could have covered as usual, but I talk about whatever I feel like. And the biggest thing that I feel like talking about is Red Skull and Jordan Peterson. That's right, folks. If you weren't aware, which maybe you were, Ta-Nehisi Coates, the black, crazy, insane activist or troll, whatever he is, I'm not really sure if he is a genuine person, he decided to write the new iteration of Captain America, that is within Marvel Comics, the arch nemesis of Captain America, Red Skull, the antithesis of Captain America, that is the Nazi version of Captain America, Red Skull. Red Skull was going to promote Peterson's 10 Rules for Life. This is from the Mary Sue here. And it says, Chaos and Order, which of course comes from Peterson's 12 Rules. Also, his book, Maps and Meaning. Wonderful book, by the way, if you have the patience to read it. Very, very, very dense. Super dense. You're going to have to take your time. I suggest buying a copy, highlighting it, and writing in the margins because it's super dense. If you don't read books or you can't handle that kind of stuff, go watch his lectures. But I'm a fan of Peterson, and nothing he says could be construed as evil or Nazism. In fact, his entire shtick is that ideology possesses people and causes them to basically form collectives and become tribal, and that then causes mass murder and atrocity, and that we can stop that and hedge that from happening if we focus on the individual and individual responsibility instead of the collective. And this comes out of Jungian psychology. Now, I'm a fan of Carl Jung and Jungian psychology. I've studied it for some years, long before I got into Jordan Peterson. I wasn't aware of Jordan Peterson's existence until the whole gender pronoun issue, which is a non-issue, by the way. The government has no right to compel you to state what someone's pronouns are. That is between you and the individual. And Peterson was 1000% correct about that. The problem is that these left-wingers have their ideology that they have to espouse and put upon everybody. And if you aren't there within that, if you aren't in the religion, you are a heretic, and heretics must be burned at the stake. So what Ta-Nehisi Coates did is he took the bad guy and decided to make it Jordan Peterson and his rules. And that's exactly what it says here from the Mary Sue, which of course is a very, very leftist outlet. It says the pundit known for his misogynistic, racist, and transphobic talking points. Peterson's known for none of that, but that is how the left frames it. And here from bleedingcool.com, we can see some of these panels. This whole thing is about wokeness and intersectionality. And in the end, what we find out about Red Skull is that he wants to free man by bringing back masculinity. He's going to bring back masculinity as if that's a bad thing. I offer you the sword of manhood, says Red Skull. The sword of manhood right here. This is his solution, to make boys men. And the left, Ta-Nehisi Coates, and everyone else is saying, nope, that's a bunch of Nazi talk right here. Peterson's angry response to Red Skull's depiction shows a complete lack of self-awareness and a strong sense of self-righteous victimhood. No, actually, it doesn't. It shows that you are twisted, evil SOBs who basically will do anything to get a leg up and demonize anybody. And you have a sick, sick mentality because you don't understand that Peterson believes in the individual, de-individualization. That is de-individualization is the idea that you all pushed, that everyone must think the same. Everyone must be an NPC. But individualization, a philosophy, a thought from Carl Jung, is this idea that you cannot be possessed by the crowd and by the masses, that mob rule will not work on you because you are an individual. And that Nazism occurred in Germany. The Weimar Republic fell and the Nazis came to power because people joined the collective. It's a very different tale, now isn't it? Very, very different. And I wanted to talk about this because we all know we live in a clown world, and this is a much deeper subject. In fact, I might talk about this on the Ends Justify the Memes some tonight, probably on Sunday, because we are going to be starting a Sunday regular stream at 3 p.m. Eastern Sundays. So that will happen here on April 11th, and we will probably talk about this more. We want to make that show a call-in show-ish, if we can get to that point where folks can call in, or maybe they can join in on the StreamYards link for a little bit. I have to work it out with Tank, but that's something we've been talking about to help expand the community, help you guys come in, have conversations, because really that's what we want to do, is we want to talk, and Tank and I can only talk at each other for so long about the same issues. We kind of know where we stand. And of course, we are folks that are curious, trying to suss out the reality of the world. And unfortunately, Ta-Nehisi Coates does not want to do that in any way, shape, or form. He simply wants power. And Jordan Peterson isn't someone who's looking for power, as far as I can tell. A lot of people chide the man. You know, I have friends like Rebecca from the Matt and Blonde show who don't really like Jordan Peterson. But my thing is who's perfect? Who is perfect? Because I take this lesson that Christ gave me of don't judge people except for that I would be judged, and if I were to be judged, God will judge me by the standard in which I judge people. So I'm always going to look at folks. I mean, judgment is righteous, folks. Judgment is real. Judgment is something you do every day. Paul talks about it in the book of Corinthians, about judging people within the church. Like, judgment is something that is there. What Christ said was, be careful of the standard you hold, because God will hold that same standard back to you. And that's how I judge people. And I believe that that is what Jordan Peterson thinks when he judges people. Funnily enough, he kind of got into this, and this is really the bigger issue that I want to talk about, and that embracing this is actually a good thing. And I'll tell you why. It says right here, Red Skull says, could be, try telling the truth. If you cling desperately to an ideology or wallow in nihilism, try telling the truth. And that is directly a quote from Jordan Peterson himself. And I love it. I love it because the left just made a new meme, like super straight, something that we can use to counteract them. We can now use a symbol of evil that was literally American propaganda in the beginning via comic books during World War II, when Captain America was created and Red Skull, the evil Nazi force, was created. We can now flip that and take that and use that as a symbol. Red Skull is red, is he not? That means he is red-pilled, is he not? And that means he's super, super based. I mean, this looks like a really, really based guy, if you ask me, telling you that you should try and tell the truth and not cling to ideologies or wallow in nihilism. I mean, it's pretty based, dude. It's pretty based. And, you know, I say if Hydra is all about this, hail Hydra, right? The secret to your existence is right in front of you. It manifests itself as all those things you know you should do, but are avoiding. Yes, that is some great Nazi propaganda right there. It is hilarious to me. It is quite hilarious to me because, guys, this is just the epitome of woke stupidity to take something that was once a Nazi and now reform them. It's like taking, the right did this with, if you've never seen it, you should Google this because it's quite funny. You should Google woke Hitler or anti-racist Hitler. It's quite funny. Most of us know that murdering hundreds of thousands, millions of people is just not good. Starting wars, deciding to try and rule the world is not good. Yet the leftists have no problem with it because to them their ideology is moral. For me, the closest thing I have to an ideology is my faith, and truth is my highest value, and therefore I don't have anything to project on anyone. I'm always looking for the truth, and I'm asking them to look at it as well. And my whole outlook on life is something like try to perfect myself and do better in life and tell people they should do the same instead of pointing outward all the time. It's very Peterson-esque. It's very Christ-like. And it is also what Carl Jung suggested. You have to look inside, try to be a better person than you were yesterday and stop comparing yourself to other people or the person you strive to be that you're not yet. Maybe you never will be. But are you better than yesterday? That's more important. These are all Peterson lessons. Peterson says, clean your room. Again, a very, very Nazi propagandistic heavy slogan. Again, I encourage embracing this whole thing from Ta-Nehisi Coates. The Red Skull, Jordan Peterson, 10 Rules for Life thing. I think it's brilliant. And yeah, masculinity is the issue. Masculinity is 1,000% the issue in our society. We have a gynocentric society. It isn't black versus white. It isn't all about just national sovereignty alone. It isn't about leftism is a mind cancer alone. Yes, it's all of those things. But it's about the willingness for men to go out into chaos and create the world and to act like men and to face danger and confront it, or women who wish to infantilize their children, keep them at home and protect them from every little single thing. And basically, our culture, which is all left wing, is saying, no, remain weak. We shall protect you, you weak, feeble people. It reminds me so much, as I bring up quite often, the Republic, Plato's Republic, because Plato wanted the children to not see anything that might corrupt their mind, because he believed that evil came about in the mind, or at least according to the Republic, according to the dialogue here, that essentially no one was to see anything evil or that would be scary or wrong, because that's actually what created and perpetuated evil. And that's such an absurd notion. That's such a missing of the mark of human nature. Like, children, when they are born, are completely frail and fragile and dependent upon their parents, right? And as they grow, they learn to move. There's a process. It's the cephalocaudal proximal distal process in which they learn to control their bodies. That is from the head down, from the center out, and then they start to move their arms and legs, right? And then they start to roll, and next thing you know, they can push themselves up, and then they can rock, and then after they rock, they start crawling, and the next thing you know, they can squat, and then they can kind of step, and it's a natural process, and at the same time, they're starting to make sounds and talk, and as their nervous system grows and explores the world, you have to socialize them. You have to teach them what is right and wrong, because otherwise their default is they are the center of the universe. And this is what leftism is. It is narcissistic nihilism. 1,000%. It is what it is. It is narcissistic nihilism. And children, if not socialized by about the age of 4 or 5, will never be socialized. They'll be antisocial. And we see this. This is the problem with fathers not being in the homes. The other problem with fathers not being in the homes, by the way, aside from discipline and good socialization, is that Men are infantilized and emasculated. Men never become men because they're raised by women. How are you going to learn to be a man when your mode of operation as a man, that is, you have testosterone, your brain's different, you have a different body structure, you have all these different things, and a different mode of reproduction in which you pursue your life, and a natural, innate wanting to go and pursue things and create things within the world. And I'm not saying all men do this or do this well, but this is the natural instinct of men. And we go out to the world, whereas women tend to stay home and cloister to themselves more and protect things, right? How is a man supposed to be developed? How is a man supposed to come to be from a boy if he never has a good example of manhood? And we see the same thing within gangs and gang violence. We see that these young boys without fathers pick a father figure within the gang, the older gang members. They become the patriarch. It is the natural order of things. And Ta-Nehisi Coates, being the jackass and fool that he is, wishes to twist that around. Well, like I said, it's sad, and this is leftism, that we need to mother and infantilize everybody. It is the tyrannical mother, the archetype that Jung and Peterson often talk about. And you'll see this a lot too. In fact, I see this with most single mothers, and I've met a lot of really screwed up people from single mothers because the mother is tyrannical, wants to infantilize them. This is why our society is weak. It literally is. This has nothing to do with classically liberal ideas as far as the Nazi portion of what Red Skull came from, or what they're projecting onto Peterson. No, the classically liberal ideas are freedom of speech, allowing people to be free, limited government, free markets, laissez-faire capitalism, if you would, right? Limited government is the most important, because that limited government is the mature government. Because an immature government needs to control you. Look, our government is not mature, having thousands and thousands and thousands of troops right now in D.C. barricading everything because a bunch of old people walked through the Capitol building literally a month or 3 months and a day ago. Right? Just absolutely absurd, yet they are doing all this. They are overreacting, acting like an overprotective mother. This is why I say constantly there is no masculine leadership in our national, often state and local leadership. There is very little masculine leadership in our home. Amongst the black community, 70% fatherless rate. Amongst the white community here in the United States, 40% fatherless rate. And yet Ta-Nehisi Coates is going to bring up Red Skull, and Red Skull said that, I offer you masculinity. I offer you masculinity. What a Nazi. What a Nazi, wanting you to be a man or a woman, if you're one of my female listeners, which I do have, but a woman out there who understands this about men. And you don't want to date a soy boy. You don't want to date a cucked out young man. And a lot of you women out there will say that you do, but you really don't, because once you see a masculine man, you go after him. You're not attracted to that soy boy. You don't respect him. It's the way it works. And trust me, I learned this by the school of hard knocks, guys. I'm a young-looking guy. If I shaved and cut my hair right now, I'd look like I was about 25. But I assure you, I am 40. And I've been around the block a little bit. I got some years to go yet. So, I don't know. This whole thing obviously is a big diatribe that is everywhere and all over the place, but it's because of this insanity in the world right now. Like when Jordan Peterson is basically the bad guy of a comic book because somehow he's against inclusion or whatever. Like it's absolutely ridiculous. It says, what has happened to the men of the world is truly one of the greatest tragedies of our time. Once the American man was a conqueror. Now he is but a caretaker. He's not even that. He's less than that. Look at all the incels, so to speak, and all the MGTOWs. Red Skull's not wrong, guys. Red Skull is not wrong, according to Ta-Nehisi Coates. And a caretaker of what? He stands for some amorphous dream, a dream of nothing. But what I offer you is more than just some petty dream, more than a life of tending the hearth. No more shall women be summoned to fight your battles. I offer steel for your spine and iron for your gut. I offer you the sword of manhood. Oh, what a Nazi, having strong men. How dare he, how dare he. Ah! These people are insane. I honestly, I still don't know if Ta-Nehisi Coates is a legitimate individual or just a troll. I would assume he's just a troll, honestly. I don't think this guy's legit at all. I think he knows how to make money. Like a lot of these grifters, I don't usually like to throw out that word, and other folks that will make money. Like, I'm never going to be big, guys. I'm never going to be popular, famous. I don't do that kind of content in general, right? I'm not as well spoken as I should be. I cannot read perfectly well. And I'm going to talk about fringe things on occasion because my perspective is not that of the world. It is something different. But the idea that Jordan Peterson is some nefarious Nazi from World War II, throwback, whatever, is absolutely insane. And I'm going to suggest that anyone who is liberty-minded, embrace this trope and this meme of Red Skull. And we should all embrace the new Hydra of independent man. Hail Hydra and independence. Hail the unfederated unity in which we have and our collective hate of the left and the leftward push toward collectivism. All right, guys, that's all I got for today. This has been All Minus One Quick Shots, and I wish you all well.